Team leaders, how many of you have had a challenge in getting your sales to the goal that you have set? Well, the problem is very real for most team leaders out there. I can tell you right now, we've got a solution for you, and I'm extremely excited to discuss that today. And I want to welcome my very special guest, Grant Wise. Grant, welcome to the show today.
Hey, brother. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Grant, I would be honored if you'd tell our audience a little bit about who you are and what you do, and then we're going to dive right into this topic, and we're going to help team leaders and their teams sell a lot more real estate.
Yeah, no, definitely. I get the opportunity to work as a fractional chief growth officer for top real estate teams in North America. I work with a lot of people in the U.S. and I work with a lot of amazing teams in Canada, and I get to step into their companies and audit their businesses and identify areas of opportunity and find little holes that I can help fill up with different systems and processes I've got. And usually get to work with incredible people, and we get to have an incredible time, whether it's, helping them fix stuff on the production side of their business or fix stuff on the recruiting side of their business. It's something that I get to have a lot of fun with. I get to work with people like Justin Haver, top team in Canada, Gary Ashton, number one Remax team in the world. I get to work with people like yourself. Obviously, we've had a lot of fun working together last year, and it's just one of the favorite things I get to do. Team leaders are some of the greatest people in the world, and it's fun to get in and use my expertise to help them grow their businesses.
I appreciate that, Grant. And, I'm just going to be honest and kind of raw and transparent today, because I know there's a lot of team leaders that are watching this that we're going to use me as an example in our team. We had no problem with the leads, right? So that's not the problem we're going to talk about today. And for the team leaders that are watching this right now, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Hundreds of leads a month. Some of those leads with some accountability attached to it, right? With some third party, maybe big companies that you all know what I'm talking about that have some reporting metrics, and you jump on that reporting metric call and it doesn't look so good. So you've got a conversion problem, right? You maybe have some issues with some of your strategies or processes, or you may not have any processes. So Grant, we had the pleasure of connecting with you, bringing all of our problems and airing our dirty laundry to you about what's going on with our team. And it wasn't like we weren't selling real estate, but we were not hitting our targets. You mind sharing a little bit about what you observed about myself and our team when you first started working with us, and kind of the plan we put together to fix these issues?
Yeah. What I always like to say is, like, every time I step into a team, there is no doubt that the people on the team are working, and typically working really hard. But what I find, unfortunately, a lot of times is that we're not really working hard strategically. Like, we're all just working. and that can sometimes create this, really disheartening, like, sense of, like, we're doing all this work. Why is this not getting us the results that we want? I know everybody's doing their parts. And what I find in teams is sometimes it's the leads, sometimes it's the sales processes, sometimes it's the database, email marketing that's not happening or whatever. And your team specifically, I recognize is very quickly a lead management problem. And every real estate team has a different sales process. It seems like some team leaders push the leads straight to the agents. Some team leaders push the leads straight to the ISA team, some straight to VA, some straight to insert blank, whatever you might be doing. And what I find is a glaring hole in almost every single team leader's business. This is a very consistent theme, is what happens to the leads after the agent touches them. And this is, it's not, I don't like to say this like I'm, bad mouthing agents, but real estate agents are busy people, man. Like they have an average of 20 different job roles and responsibilities, which means they can effectively allocate 2 to 2.5 hours a week to each specific task. And so what happens is a lot of team leaders push leads to the agents. The agent takes the call. If they're taking the call, this is where accountability is important, and they don't update the CRM. And while we all kind of like laugh about it, like, oh, I wish the agent did this, that is the gaping hole that exists in most people's businesses. Is the leads are literally coming into the bucket and they're going out the big hole. And the hole is typically what happens to a lead after an agent has a conversation with it. And so what I see is a couple of different things. Either the agents just flat out are not doing what they're supposed to in relation to average contact attempts, calls, text, emails, reaching out to the lead, or they're just not updating the CRM. So maybe they get a great lead that's going to buy in like 3.5 months, but they forgot to update FUB. And the lead just flows through the cracks. And we've all been there. We send an email out to our database, oh, already bought, already sold, already bought, already sold, and we get this terrible pit in our stomachs. It's like, crap, we missed a huge opportunity. We missed the check. We missed an opportunity to cash in all the investments we're making. And so there's a few things. I think that having a lead management policy or playbook, I think it's crucial. What is a fun game I play sometimes is when I walk into a team, they're like, yes, our sales process is great. Great. I'll call one ISA. Hey, can you tell me what the sales process is? And they'll lay out what they believe is the follow-up process. Well, then I'll call another one and he'll tell me something different. And then I'll call an agent and they'll tell me something that's completely out of left field. And then I'll call another agent, and nobody actually has a consistent understanding of how they're supposed to follow up with leads. And it's because the team leader hasn't taken the time typically to actually create a living document that exists in the organization that is the Bible for follow-up, which is what we call a lead management policy or lead management playbook. How's the agent going to know what to do, what to say, how to organize the CRM, what tags to apply, what lists to put in there? They're not. So if we don't give them the law, they just start making up their own laws. That's just how 3,000 tags get created and 20 different smart lists that have no correlation to our business. So we've got to create that lead management playbook, and we have to shore up the issue that happens post appointment. So if an agent meets with a consumer, this is where a CRM manager comes in handy. It's, I think, a crucial role that exists in real estate teams. So you think about an ISA or an agent is everything that you want to do pre-appointment with the consumer. Think about a CRM manager as everything that happens post-appointment with a consumer. So the CRM manager's job is to reach out to the agent. Hey, agent on the team, what was your result of that 2:00 meeting you had with Mr. and Mrs. Smith? Oh, they're going to buy in 3 months. Great. I'll update the CRM for you. It's making sure that we are actually putting in place the policies to manage the leads, but then that it's actually getting done. So that CRM manager's there, I think, to really help people shore up any loose ends. I call them the insurance policy on leads. You buy insurance for a car, you buy insurance for a house. Team leaders will spend $30, $50, $100, $150,000 a month on leads, and they ain't got no insurance policy. And so it's something that I think is a greatly underutilized role that exists in a lot of organizations. But those are some of the things that I see. Those are some of the solutions to the problems that I think exist today. And your team is obviously a great representation of what can happen when you take those changes and implement them.
Yeah, that's awesome, Grant. I'm going to ask you some of the hard questions that I know some team leaders are going to want to partner with you in the future, are probably going to ask the same things that I did. And I just want the purpose of this video to be very honest and transparent about what it takes. It's challenging to run a team. So I remember one of the questions that I had asked you is I said, Grant, I love what you're saying. It sounds good. I believe that it could work. But one of my fears is implementing something that's raising the bar so high, or the level of accountability or the metric reporting at such a high level that agents quit the team. They get burned out. They go, I'm not doing this. This is not going to work. I didn't join your team to follow some crazy playbook. I'm just not going to do this. And the result could be catastrophic as a result, as opposed to achieving the level of success that you're looking for. So, and I love the honesty and transparency that we're having here. So please just answer me honestly, because I remember what you told me. Obviously, we moved forward working together, but I had some fears around that. Do you mind addressing that and how we ended up moving forward?
Yeah, I don't know that I actually remember what I told you and what you took away from that conversation. So it could be different, but the reality is team leaders are making countless investments every single month to create opportunity for agents on the team. And so what are we actually losing if an agent leaves the team who wasn't following our standards in the first place? Because the reality is, like, you're just trading one bad problem for another bad problem. Like, do you want to continue to make these thousands of dollars of a month investment into the business for the agent to stay? Or would you rather just have agents in the organization that are going to do what it is that you're asking them to do so that you can get the desired result? It's a pretty black and white, I think, question. And for me, I would rather have 10 agents on a team doing what they're supposed to be doing every day, as opposed to having 50 agents on a team where 40 of them don't. Like you're kind of, like you've got to kind of decide as a team leader what types of issues that you want. The reality is some people might leave. I was so proud of y'all's team because we were faced with that conflict. Like it came up. When we do these lead management playbook rollouts, it's not an easy process. It's a little bit grueling, but if you really want to change the culture around follow up in an organization, you have to stick to it. And I remember distinctly working with Jillian on this, and you were a part of some of the calls. And it's like, here's what they're saying. It's like, look, you have two choices. You can give in and cave, and then really the agents are running the team, and you're going to continue to get to the level of performance that are not happy with, or you can stick to your guns and recognize an agent might leave. But if you actually are able to change the culture and organization and get all of the right follow-up and all the right activity related to, lead management, what's on the other side of it? And you all stuck to your guns, and you put up a hard line. And I remember there was an issue with a particular agent. I don't remember their name or anything, but you stuck to it. And obviously the byproduct is like, okay, every agent in the organization now knows we're serious. We're making this change. It's not a maybe we'll do it, maybe we won't thing. This is the new line in the sand. You're going to have to adhere to our standards, or you're going to have to leave. And I don't remember what your takeaway was from that conversation. I'd love to hear it, but that's certainly what I would say.
Yeah, absolutely, Grant. I mean, there was fear, and it just, to keep this really honest, I want team leaders watching this video to really benefit. I want them to learn from some of the experiences that we went through and some of the, quite honestly, growing pains of implementing this. There was an agent that we turned off of leads because they were not following the playbook after we had implemented, gone through a significant amount of training, all in the effort to help them sell more real estate. So again, going back to the accountability is the highest form of love. And you joined our team to sell more real estate, correct? We've got a system built around that now, even more robust than we ever have. This is a good thing. We're going to help you achieve that goal. Remember when you joined us, you said you wanted to double your production? This is going to do that. So not every agent is going to always embrace that. This one particular agent, so didn't follow the policy. You told us, and specifically said, Jillian, stick to the policy and follow it to the T. And she did. That agent ended up getting 3 contracts in escrow from the pond, her pond.
I didn't know that. That's
quote
awesome.
unquote bad leads, right? That she went back, because it's like, you've got, just throw a number out there. You've been given 47 leads in the last 60 days. Of those 47, we all know, Grant, from doing this for a long time, that there is a conversion rate, right? So of those 47 leads, there's a few transactions to be had there. And she dug deep, right? And I give this agent a lot of credit, right? I must give credit where credit's due. She dug deep. Maybe there was a little frustration initially, but she said, I'm going to be successful. I've got to figure this out. And she pulled 3 transactions out of the pond. And I've told that story time and time again, that there is gold in that CRM if you're willing to dig for it. So that was pretty cool. But one thing I'd love for
you, such a good story.
It's an amazing story. Love for you to dig into what you observed about our team as we were kind of going through some of the pain of implementing this, and you were with us every step of the way. But what did you see happen within our team that you would like to share?
I think one of the things that I appreciated was that, I get a chance to work with a lot of top teams, and, some listen, some don't, and that's fine. I'm here to give advice. That doesn't always mean that people have to take it, right? But you all took every piece of advice, and it's sometimes it's hard to describe, but I've been in conversations where your team specifically, you could tell it's like, this is what you want us to do. It's like, are you sure, Grant? This is what we need to do. So it was kind of like this, just really interesting, like, are you sure? Are you sure you want us to do this? This sounds painful. This sounds tough. This is what might happen. But you all faced every single challenge, and you just stuck to the plan. And, you did what was required. You got the lead management policy in place. You got the CRM manager in place. Jillian did an excellent job coming into meetings with coffee and saying, like, yeah, this is what happened today. But, we would come out of every conversation with a very clear plan of action. And I think a commitment to really create change inside of the organization around follow-up and everything that you guys are doing. And, obviously the byproduct of that has been unbelievably successful. And it's not easy when there's a lot of stuff going on in the market to say, I'm going to do this thing. And it's scary and I might lose some people. And I don't really ultimately know what the end result of this is going to be, but I know this is in our best interest and we're going to stick to that. It's not always easy to do the leadership thing, right? When we're not implementing popular changes, we're implementing changes that are hard, that require people to, tap into a different level of, their own performance and look in the mirror. Like none of that stuff's easy, but you all faced every challenge. And even though it was hard, you did it anyway. And kudos to you all, because the byproduct of that has been very successful, and you've become a great model, in my opinion, for a lot of other top teams out there in the marketplace that could come in and shadow you all for a sales meeting or two and say, okay, this is how we should really do this, is the way that John and Leslie are doing it. And so there's quite a few compliments in there. I admire you all for what you did, and I think that I mean that you all are great role models for the industry.
I appreciate that very much, Grant. For the team leaders watching this video, if you're finding value out of the content that we're putting out to you today, I'd be grateful if you'd like, subscribe, and comment on our channel, and stay tuned for a lot more informative videos like this in the future. So with that, Grant, I do want to share for our audience watching, if you're a team leader, I would say this, that I know a lot of team leaders, the majority of them do not have a lead management and policy procedure manual as detailed as what you gave us and what you built for us. And I just know that from networking with a lot of team leaders throughout the industry. So I do want to share a result, and I want to ask you a follow-up question about our team sold 90 homes in 90 days. And it was a 3-month period of July, August, and September. And it was one house a day. And it was some incredible production. The team was super excited. They saw that this was working. For all of the agents that really dug in and embraced it, it was 100% worth it, because you mentioned earlier leadership, and I've always said that sometimes leadership can be lonely, and it can be lonely because you sometimes feel like you're the only person of others surrounding you that feels the way that you do, and you feel very strongly and very convicted the way that I did about this playbook, how I knew we had to implement something to bring up the production of the team. And again, forget about the team for a minute. Every single agent that's an amazing person on my team, or whoever's watching on your team, they want more success in their business. And as a team leader, I would just say, are you going to have the courage, even though leadership can be lonely at times, to make bold moves and implement policies that on the surface might look like you're raising the bar too high, or you're elevating things beyond what people are capable of? That's not what this is about. This playbook is about giving people a roadmap to achieve their goals. Now, if they want to sell 100 homes a year, yes, they're going to have an intense daily follow-up schedule. But if they're just wanting to sell 15, maybe 20 homes a year, and they follow this playbook, it's manageable. It takes the stress out of forgetting things, and it allows them to hit those types of numbers by just knowing if they follow the roadmap, they're going to get there. So that's my testimonial to working with you, Grant. And I just want to ask you, for your viewers that watch your channel and for the viewers that are our audience today, where do you see our industry moving forward? There are a lot of changes taking place with the NAR settlement coming up in July. There's a lot of changes that taking place with many of the consumers are now selecting their agent through online portals or online channels. Not all, but many of them compared to years past. What do you see? And I asked you a couple questions there. Feel free to answer any one that you want. What do you see for the future of our industry and for teams, and how should a team position themselves moving forward to thrive?
That's a great question. I think that what I would say is none of us have a crystal ball, and the market gets to decide. This isn't up to us. We don't get to decide how the consumer will do business with agents. We don't get to decide how commissions are going to be paid out. We don't get to decide any of those things. I think there's going to be a lot of stuff that gets tested. But what I can tell you is with great confidence is that people that can clearly articulate their value to the marketplace, both through their marketing efforts and their sales efforts, so their marketing one-to-many, their sales one-to-one, are not going to have a problem earning a living in this industry for a very long time. And, if it wasn't this lawsuit, it was COVID. If it wasn't COVID, it was interest rates. If it wasn't interest rates, it was something else. There's always been problems. And we've always just come together as an industry, figured out how to solve those, and worked really diligently to implement solutions. I think that a lot of that's happening right now. There's team leaders that are coming together and they're masterminding around how to communicate value in an industry that has a perception problem, because most of the society doesn't have the greatest view of real estate agents. And so I think that, my advice is to just very, 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 very simply look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself if you truly are demonstrating your value to the marketplace. And if the answer is no, make the adjustment. Communicate your value to the marketplace, both through your marketing and your sales efforts. And you're never going to have to worry about whether or not you're going to be compensated. And so that might require some skill development. It might require some messaging adjustments. I mean, there's certainly some stuff that will be required, but those that take the time and make the investment and do the hard work, I think are going to be just fine. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity in this industry, and nobody really knows how it's going to shake out. The market gets to decide that. But in the meantime, make sure that you know how to communicate your value to the marketplace. And so skill up. There's a lot of work for us all to do. And if you do it, I think you'll be very successful.
Appreciate your time so much, Grant. There is a lot of issues out there, but we always have to be, as I love to say, we've got to be tougher than our problems. We're going to be. We give a lot of freebies away on this channel too, with the audience watching right now. I don't want to disappoint anybody, but just want to let my audience know this is not going to be a giveaway. There's a lot of reasons for it. It's custom built for your team by Grant. It's custom built to your CRM, the types of leads you get. This is not a copy and paste thing. So to my audience, I'm going to put a link to how to contact Grant down below in the comments. So Grant, I hope you get some of our audience and some team leaders watching this to reach out to you. And I just want to tell my team leader friends out there that be excited about making change in your business. Do not be stagnant. It's just like the advice we give to our sellers. Don't let an old listing just sit there without changing the price, changing the marketing, changing the strategy. We have got to innovate. We've got to adapt. Grant, you're absolutely right. The market is going to decide, but I want to encourage my team leader friends to come up with a lead management and policy playbook. And I promise you the results are definitely going to be exciting for you and for the agents on their team, seeing more value and why they joined you in the first place. So with that, Grant, I want to thank you very much for your generosity with your time today. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Appreciate you too.